about Dak Prescott winning the MVP and the Cowboys as a whole. And I said, you know what this year reminds me of? It reminds me of the Cam Newton year and the Matt Ryan year where the Panthers and the Falcons got to the Super Bowl, eventually lost, but I'll get to that in a second. Is that everything is kind of lining up. First of all, for Dak to win MVP. You know, I mean, it's, you know, you got Aaron Rodgers is hurt and Burrow is gone and Mahomes is trying to work with all these kid wide receivers, so he's having a down year, and Josh Allen's a turnover machine, so it's kind of lining up for the MVP. But in terms of teams, this Dallas team feels a little like that Carolina team that went 15-1. Big emotion, blew out a lot of teams, was great playing with a lead, was good home and away, but better at home. Great defensive players. Multiple Pro Bowlers and playmakers on the defensive side. Remember that Carolina team? And then the Atlanta Falcons team reminds me of this Cowboys team because both had Dan Quinn coaching the defense. Both had one-star receiver, C.D. Lamb for the Cowboys, Julio Jones. The quarterback, Matt Ryan, had come off a heavy interception year. And the year they got to the Super Bowl, he cut way back on his picks. Dak last year tied for the NFL lead in picks. They've come way down this year. They had one great pass rusher, one great offensive lineman. Again, a Dan Quinn defense. So I didn't think that Carolina team was great.
It wasn't their defense.
The Atlanta team was great, and I don't think Dallas is great. And eventually Carolina and Atlanta were beat by a legendary quarterback with a number one defense. Brady, that Patriot defense was number one, came back to beat him in that game, shouldn't have did. And then that Peyton Manning Denver defense, remember, they went on to beat the Cam team. So it's like, you know, so if Mahomes ends up playing Dallas, to me, I would take Kansas City and Mahomes to beat Dallas. It'd be a legendary quarterback. But it does feel a little bit to me, this Dak Dallas team, everything's lined up. Everything lined up that year for Carolina. Big emotion, defensive playmakers, a lot of blowouts, played downhill, heavy emotion, and a quarterback who's good, Cam Newton was good, having a great year. A quarterback who's very good, Matt Ryan, having a great year. A quarterback who's good to very good, Dak, having a great year. So it kind of, Mike McCarthy's talks about Dak's season so far.
It's the level of productivity and, you know, and I think the consistency of it, you know, to be able to go out there week in and week out and put your team in position through production and performance. He's obviously done that at an extremely high level here the last 6 weeks.
By the way, Coach is having an appendix taken out today. Is that what he's having? So we wish Mike McCarthy luck. He's had a great year. He'll be back on the sidelines, but we do wish Mike the very best. He's a good guy. Great year. And we've said this time and time again. If I come out and I beat up on people from time to time, and I kind of took Aaron Rodgers' side on the Mike McCarthy-Aaron Rodgers split, but I got to be fair here. Mike built up Green Bay to get to a Super Bowl, and this team right now is playing great. That offensive line's as good as it's been in 3 years. C.D. Lamb, Dak is unbelievable. Dak's having an unbelievable year. We got to be fair here. You can be rigid. You can be stubborn. We have new information now. Aaron's the one struggling. Mike McCarthy's not. He's had a great year. I know nobody wants to hear this, but he's got to be considered for Coach of the Year. I know you don't want to hear it, but he's got to be considered.
And I know you don't want to say
Lost Kellen Moore. We're all sitting there thinking, this isn't going to work. Nah, I don't know. Pretty good. Got to consider him.
Wait a minute. Coach of the Year?
They are the first, second, or third best team in the league. Is that out? You got Brock Purdy being MVP, and I can't say Mike McCarthy's in the running for Coach of the Year.
I mean, can he beat a couple good teams first? Can we? Is that too much to ask of Mike McCarthy? Can you get a couple? And the New York Giants, led by Tommy DeVito. Yeah, come on, Coach of the Year.
Number
one
one
off Kellen Moore, by the way.
Number one scoring offense. Dak's having his best year.
Okay.
After the bye, this team's look totally different.
Wow.
Good coaches make a difference after the bye.
So who's got a better coaching job? McCarthy or, say, I don't know, DeMeco Ryans in Houston, which was like a 4 or 5 win team.
Yeah, but Houston's not as good as Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're way better than they were supposed to be.
He turned that team around.
I'm just saying.
Look at how many victories they had
Shane
last year
Steichen with a backup quarterback.
No. Shane Steichen is who I would give the award to. But what if they lose their next 3?
Mike McDaniel or McCarthy?
I think Mike McDaniel should be considered. What if he loses his next 2?
Well, what if McCarthy loses?
Dallas has a lot of W's on that slate.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Number 1 in point differential. Something
this is crazy.
Very Carolina Panthers.
I need to check your phone and see if Jerry Jones was texting you last night or something. What is this, McCarthy?
No, I mean, maybe it's my guilt. I'm not even, I don't have any religious guilt.
You should have
I'm
a lot
agnostic,
of guilt.
But maybe it's some guilt that I beat up on a guy for years, and in the end, it's like we have new information. The pilot's been landing the plane. He's been avoiding the storms and the turbulence. He's had a good year.
Wow.
Yeah, we could say that.
And by the way,
That's some
you
crazy
have this
shit
a lot of
there.
times. To win a Super Bowl is not just having the best players. Things have to line up for you. Kansas City
That
got
ain't
to
the
one and got
truth.
blown out because they lost their tackles. Generally in the Super Bowl, you got to get some breaks. A rival doesn't play as well. A coach gets fired. A star gets hurt. It's not just the
Wow.
best team. We got a salary cap here. There are no great teams in the NFL. San Francisco's got a lot of good players. Now they're missing their safety. We don't know how good Brock Purdy is. The right side of their O-line's okay, not great. And again, you think they're going to be healthy in the playoffs? Everybody's available?
This is
I don't.
true.
Somebody will get banged up.
This is
San
true.
Francisco's as close as you can get with a salary cap now to a great team. They don't have a great quarterback. They have a quarterback who's a product of his
Wow.
environment that's playing very well. Good, not special. Sorry, but we'll see. Now, here's the other thing. And so if I said to you Buffalo, you would say, I would say, what a disappointing season. What a mess.
Okay.
Defensive coordinator quit.
I'm gonna say that one just blew me away. Okay, that he literally just said that Dak Prescott is the MVP, and that Mike McCarthy should be Coach of the Year. Wow. You can see Colin Cowherd, the same guy who, beginning of the season, said that Dak's a good quarterback, but he needs a lot of help. And they're gonna miss Kellen Moore. I'm gonna be the one to say. And I'm going to I got to get you the numbers, because I have to say that Brian Schottenheimer is a much better offensive coordinator than Kellen Moore. And that Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer working together is a great partnership, because we'll get the numbers. But Russell Wilson's best year that he had offensively, 40 TDs, 13 interceptions, and a 105 rating, Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator. And I'm not sure that he gets enough credit for being the offensive coordinator, even though Mike McCarthy's calling plays, in the same way that I don't think Al Harris gets enough credit for being the defensive backfield coach. Both of those guys are doing an incredible job, and they should get credit. So we're here at the Red Brick House, and we got all kinds of stuff that's going on. We know Mike McCarthy is going to be having appendicitis surgery. He's still planning on coaching this weekend. Jalen Hurts, people are calling for him to be benched for a while so he can recover. We've got the Cowboys getting back on the field. We got Peyton Hendershot being activated, and Sean McKenna going on to practice squad or and so on. So we got a lot of stuff that's going on. I need to get here, get unloaded. I got to go pick up some wood from Legacy Lumber for the house. I got to take care of a hot water issue and everything else. So let me get to work, and I'll be back.